Good afternoon, guys, and welcome to another Football Manager experiment with me, James. Now today we're doing a little twist. We've taken former associates, whether it be players, manager, coaches of each club in the Premier League, and we've named one of these legends as the manager at the club. Now the little twist here is that the current manager of the club, i.e. Arsene Wenger at Arsenal, has been demoted to the assistant manager of the club. So let's kick it off. Thierry Henry, the legend, the idol of Arsenal, takes over the reins at Emirates Stadium. Next on, we're on to Aston Villa. Now Dwight Yorke, after his move from Manchester United, he scored quite a few goals. He takes over the reins at Aston Villa with Tim Sherwood as assistant manager. Now Bournemouth, I felt like I couldn't really move somebody because Eddie Howe is the ultimate legend there for getting them promoted to the Premier League. Next on, we go to Chelsea. Who else are you going to do? The legend that is John Terry. Ian Wright, he takes over the reins at Crystal Palace from Alan Pardew, who demotes to assistant manager. Wayne Rooney, the former Everton player, the wonder kid once dubbed there, he takes over at Everton. Leicester City, the manager there is Matt Elliott. We did try to search for Robbie Savage, but he is not in the editor. Hopefully he might be in FM16. Liverpool, who have Jurgen Klopp as his assistant manager, is Steven Gerrard. There was no doubts about that. We go to Manchester City. This is a weird one. Sean Goater takes over with Manuel Pellegrini as his assistant manager. Return of the Beckham. David Beckham takes the reins at Manchester United. Louis van Gaal, the assistant manager. Now one of my all-time heroes, Peter Beardsley, takes the reins at Newcastle United with Steve McLaren as assistant manager. Now Norwich, Grant Holt, the goal machine, he takes over with Alex Neil as assistant manager. Now the next one was a tough one. Southampton. I actually wanted Matt Le Tissier, but again he's not in the database, so I thought we'll rock it up and we'll go with Gareth Bale, obviously still playing just now. We head to Stoke. Now I didn't really know too many Stoke legends, to be honest, but I brought back Tony Pulis, which therefore says the assistant manager at West Brom is not going to be Tony Pulis. Sunderland, tough one, but I went for Kevin Phillips. I didn't even search Niall Quinn, but that was the other one that was close to appointing had he been in the database. Swansea, Leon Britton, the guy that's done it all at Swansea. He's been there right at the bottom and he's still there right now at the top. We move on to Spurs, Teddy Sheringham. We just bring him from Stevenage to Tottenham. His assistant, of course, Pochettino. Now Watford, we bring back the old guard, Graham Taylor. West Brom, Russell Holt. I did look for Jeff Horsfield, but he's not currently in the database. Finally, West Ham, Rio Ferdinand takes over the reins at West Ham. Now basically, guys, we're going to see how these former players or managers or legends get on managing the club and see who really has what it takes to step up in the game as a manager and how they do in the league, and if all of them or any of them still have their job at the end of the season. Let's zip forward and find out. Okay guys, back with an update at the end of the season. Now Thierry Henry is still in charge of Arsenal, and of course you can see at the top the position they finished in the Premier League, but we will show you the Premier League in a few moments. We move on to Aston Villa to see if Dwight Yorke is still in charge. He is in charge and he's named Gabi Agbonlahor as his vice captain. Eddie Howe still has the reins at Bournemouth. Chelsea. Is John Terry still there? He is. John Terry is still the manager of Chelsea. Crystal Palace has sacked their manager. So, that's an interesting one. Ian Wright has been sacked as the manager of Crystal Palace and they've not yet replaced him as it's the end of the season. Everton. Wayne Rooney still in charge of Everton. Is Matt Elliott still at Leicester? He is. We move on to the Giants of Liverpool. Steven Gerrard still taking the reins. I wonder if Jurgen Klopp helped him out. Sean Goater, the manager of Manchester City, he's still at the helm of the Etihad. Manchester United, David Beckham, still in charge at Old Trafford. Well, Peter Beardsley has been sacked as manager of Newcastle United, and Mr. Character himself, Brendan Rodgers, has taken over the reins. Now that is currently 2 sackings so far, and we're around halfway through the Premier League table. First of all, the Crystal Palace manager leaving, Ian Wright, and secondly, Peter Beardsley, the Newcastle manager, being sacked. We move on to Norwich. Grant Holt is still in charge of the club. Gareth Bale, still in charge of Southampton as a 24-year-old manager. Stoke City, Tony Pulis, this should be comfortable for them. Well-known manager, of course, they know him inside out. Still there. Sunderland have sacked Kevin Phillips. The ultimate legend of the club has been sacked by Sunderland. Swansea, Leon Britton is still in charge there. Carlo Ancelotti has taken over the reins at Tottenham as Terry Sheringham has given the punt. Is Graham Taylor still at Watford? Yes, he is. The old guard is still there. West Brom, Russell Holt, still the gaffer. What about Rio Ferdinand? No, Rio Ferdinand has been sacked by West Ham and they have brought back Sir Sam Allardyce. Now let's check the Premier League table, how it finished. So as you can see, it's almost like real proper managers were in charge, because the first 5 is pretty much possibly how this season could go in the Premier League actually. So, Sean Goater guides Man City to the Championship. John Terry gets a Champions League spot for his beloved Chelsea. Thierry Henry gets 3rd spot and almost a trophy for the Arsenal in the Champions League. David Beckham gets Man United into 4th, while Steven Gerrard and Wayne Rooney take Everton and Liverpool respectively to 5th and 6th place in the Europa League, whereas West Brom, Russell Holt manager, has gotten them into the Europa League, while Eddie Howe, Ian Wright and Rio Ferdinand seen their clubs get relegated from the Premier League season. So guys, that is it, the manager madness merry-go-round. Each club in the Premier League has a manager, either a legend or an associate to the club, and that is how it went. So, for me, that is probably how the Premier League is going to end up this season in real life, I think. Apart from Spurs will be up. And I'm talking about the top 6-7 here, not the whole table. So if you move Everton to 7th, put Spurs 6th, that's my prediction for the Premier League. Thanks again guys, another experiment, the manager madness merry-go-round.